Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here doing a review on a piece of equipment that if you are in the aquarium hobby, if you like fish tanks, whether it's saltwater, whether it's freshwater, it really doesn't matter. This product right here can definitely help you out. It's one that I use on my office tank. You can see it right here. I've used it now for about 6 weeks. And this isn't going to be an unboxing, it's already installed. I'm just going to show you how it works and my experience with it. But I can tell you right now from the start, it is a great option for a nano-sized tank. It takes up very little room. As we look at the box here, as advertised, see we get a little more light on it as advertised. And my flashlight, it is the size of a penny, and we're going to see that when we look at the actual product installed on the tank. They also have a smart water change system as well. It was one that I will have linked because I did have it originally, but we ran out of space as you look underneath here because the auto water change unit takes 3 bins and we really did not have the space for it. So the auto top off unit is what we now are currently running with it. But I will have it in the description if you want to look into the auto water change system. Now let's look at how it is set up, and we're going to take a look at how it mounts to the tank itself. As we get down here, you will see our bin, and as you can see inside, that is the pump that supplies your water. Now, the pump is very small. You can fit this inside of just about any water container that you might have. It is by far like the smallest pump as far as fitting inside of water containers that I found. This here, to give you an idea, is a 3-gallon, it's actually a dog food container that has a top that you can just open it up, pour it in. It does have a siphon break on it right there. But as I show you when I put it inside the tank, I did have to drill holes to mount it in. But as you can see, the pump down there, it has some suction cups. It stays right on the bottom. Never have any problems with it. The one downside I will tell you is if for some reason the pump goes bad, you are not going to be able to replace it with anything but this pump, because the connectors that go into its little piece here, it has its own plug. It's not a universal plug that you can put in there. So just know that for the smart ATO, this is the micro. There is other ones as well, but know that you are going to have to, if you have to for some reason replace the pump, it is going to have to be the same model pump. It comes with all the tubing, all the wiring. We are going to move up and we're going to look and see exactly how it is mounted inside the tank. Sorry about the blue light from the tank there, but as you can see, it is lit up in a blue LED light inside. Let me shine the light down there. And that is your optical sensor that senses the water level, and as the water level falls below that, the pump will automatically turn on and it will feed the water up through the tube here and into the back of the tank. This is why I really like this product, is the size of it. Now, there are other ones that are cheaper. This one is on the more expensive side, but anytime you're paying for a smaller size of anything, that is where your expense comes. If you have the room for 2 more bins, one of wastewater, one for salt water, I do recommend the auto water change. It's basically 2 of these. It comes with a really nice controller and it's not all that much more expensive. I just really wish that we had the room to incorporate it all nicely, because it is a good way to do a water change, especially on a tank. When you're looking at a nano tank of 14 gallons, is this one here, even on a 10-gallon one that they make, it fits inside of the 3rd chamber very well. There is a couple of notes that some people have had some issues with micro bubbles building up and causing it to to come on. I have not experienced that problem. I've had a large number of bubbles build up around it from time to time, and I've never had an issue with it coming on or staying on. It does have a failsafe that turns itself off. That means when you first set up the water pump itself and it does its first fill, anytime it fills for longer than that first initial fill, for over a second, it will shut itself off. So you do not have to worry that this is going to continuously pump and fill your tank up. Just as a fail-safe itself, I always make sure that you can hold the water that's in your reservoir. I will never recommend putting a large reservoir of water just for some reason that the pump would stay on. You're not going to totally flood the tank itself. I have enough room in this tank right now that I believe it might start to overflow, but I seriously doubt it. There's enough room between the top of it. It will affect the salinity, but there won't have a water spillage over top. So just remember, pick the size of your water reservoir carefully, because if for some reason it would continuously pump, know that you will have a issue at that point. I've seen no problems with it. It pumps really quickly. Normally it just pulses on for less than a second. It tops off to where it needs to be, and right there it's done. We're going to look at the back of the box here in just a second, and you're going to see your setup and what I was just talking about here. This is your setup on it. You have your power cord, and it runs to that to what hooks up to the optical sensor and goes to the DC pump as well. That's what I was talking about. They have a special plug on the end. Just know that you're not going to be able to replace that. It is going to have to come with this unit itself. You mount the siphon brake inside. If you're keeping this above the water, it's not really necessary. Where it becomes necessary is if it would overfill, it could siphon back through. When it turns off, it could drain it down, but it's only going to drain it to that mark right there before it catches the air, and it's no longer going to drain anything back down. But you really don't want salt water back inside of your RO water for it. You can use this for fresh or salt water. Like I said, I highly recommend it. It's one that I did buy. It's not a sponsored product at all. It's just a product that I really do enjoy. Do know that the magnet, where it is fairly strong on this nano tank, we're going to look around here at the back. That's the outer magnet. It's strong enough to hold the sensor on there, and the sensor is by no way going to come falling off. I mean, I can move it physically by pulling it, and there we go. You see the water just kick on there, and it just topped itself off. Those micro bubbles that you see right there, I've never really had it become a problem. Once the level drops enough, it will take care of itself. The bubbles push away. That's just the bubbles from having it, the hose not up into the water itself. But that's how it works. We actually just hit a perfect time because you saw it pump the water in. That was as simple as it is. The pumps ran flawlessly. Haven't had any problems with it. I did have one warning. It will give you an audible beep, and that light inside of there will blink red. You will hear it because it is a fairly loud beeping. What happened was I guess it got a number of micro bubbles around it. I reset it, turned it back on, and never had any problems with it since then. So it could have just been there was a larger number of micro bubbles that made it run for a little longer than it was supposed to. You can see them build up around it. You could move it to the other side on the back wall if it became a problem, or you could move your fill around it. I actually find that by putting the fill fairly close, it tends to wash away some of the stuff that gets trapped on it. You will have to remember that as you get algae on the tank, it can cover the sensor and can cause you some false readings in the optical sensor. Make sure that you do clean it off when you have the power off. The other thing that I found with it is make sure that you turn it off as you do your water changes. because the last thing you want to do is turn your tank back on. It doesn't have time to register your water change, and you start pumping in more fresh water, and your salinity becomes an issue at that point. Do your water change, get it back on, and then switch it on, paying attention after the pump's already leveled out and you have your level set in your tank. You can kind of see where, as I turn it off, the high mark is on the water. So it's not necessarily a problem when the power's off. It's when you turn it back on and the pump starts. If you didn't get your level back up, it will come on and pump water. So I thank you all for joining me here talking about this product. It is something that I do recommend for really any saltwater aquarium keeper for sure, because of the fact that changes in salinity can cause any number of problems with your corals, with your fish, especially on smaller tanks. A tank of this size, just the evaporation, beforehand I was coming in and having to put a few cups of water in 2 to 3 times a day. Now that water bin lasts over a week and I don't have to worry about it. It is an open top, so there is a lot of evaporation. This auto top off unit works really well. It is definitely a space saver. I could fit other ones in here, but the size to fit in this back chamber was the real selling point for me for this one as well. Like I said, if you have the extra space, I do recommend the auto water change. When I had it set up, I used it to do about 2 gallons, but it was just the space concerns when you're dealing with the space under here. I didn't want bins everywhere, and we're planning on covering this outside of the tank, so 1 bin is enough. But if that is an option for you, it is a really neat piece of gear for your saltwater tank. I hope you all enjoy the evolution of this tank here in the office, and as always everyone, have a wonderful day.